there's a lot to the guy
Hmm.
that I never thought about him being a hero till like 10 years ago. They found a wreck of a plane in the Himalayas that was obviously one of, maybe it wasn't someone who knew him, but it was somebody, who flew the same route. And a lot of people died, and they're still finding the wrecks there 80 years later. And I never thought of him as a hero, but I said, man, you're 21 years old, you're flying a crappy prop plane, a
Hmm.
B-24, that, if you lose power, you just fall like a stone. That thing
Yeah.
had no grace whatsoever.
Yeah.
And, he had like 5,000 hours. And in addition, just a little anecdote, which kind of made me anti-establishment. But basically, when he signed up there, he hated the army, hated being told what to do, you know, when to do it, when to go to the bathroom, all this, orders are orders. And the deal was, hey, if you flew X number of missions, you got to go home.
Hmm.
So he's volunteering like crazy because he just wants to get home. My mother was pregnant at that point, had my sister. This is in 1945, and he
Hmm.
just wants out. And then he's almost there, and they raise the hours.
Oh, jeez.
So he was really pissed. But then said, okay, so he's volunteering again, and he's almost there again, and they do the same thing to him. And that's when he had it. But you couldn't not fly because if you
Yeah.
refused to fly, they court martial you, you wind up in prison.
Right.
So instead, he would go over the plane with a fine-tooth comb, find something wrong with it. If he couldn't find anything wrong with it, he was also an ace mechanic. He'd take it out to the end of the runway, and he knew how to blow out an engine without anyone knowing that you did it. And, so this went on for months where he just said, hey, your planes are no good. Give
Hmm.
me an airworthy plane and I'll fly it. But if it's not airworthy, I'm not flying it. And he didn't fly. And they said, we know what you're doing. We know what you're doing. He said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Give me an airworthy plane. I'll fly it. So finally, they didn't know whether to court martial him, promote him, or send him home. So they sent him home. And
Hmm.
that's how he beat the army. And he was always resented petty bureaucratic authority for the
Yeah.
rest of his life.
Yeah.
And
That had to have been frustrating.
yeah, yeah, but he beat him in the end. He beat Catch 22. Remember Catch 22? It's
Yeah.
like you got to be crazy to go up in that plane, but there's a catch.